Hi, Gaye DeRusso with Majestic Rider here with Sophie. You see she's very close, so we're doing the sidle up. So we'll see if she comes over today. So she made a move. I'm just hitting the saddle. I'm not even hitting her, but she's just getting mad. Good girl. Let's try it again. Over. Once she gets her cookie, then she's very happy. I don't let them move when you do this, right? Because then they get confused. So make sure when you give them the cookie, they're standing still and they're standing by that mounting block. Come on. So we're going to try it again, and then I'm going to take her to the big mounting block. So you use the fence to block you. I have other videos on sidling up that you can watch. Just search sidle up in my YouTube. Hi, Sophia. Okay, come over. You can add a word to it, but you're just tapping her on the opposite hip till she figures it out. They always go into pressure usually first. Good girl. So this is hard for them because they think when something pushes on them, push back. It's just a normal horse thing, so we have to teach them to give to pressure. Okay, let's try the big one. So in time, once they figure it out, they understand just to come right underneath you like she just did. So she doesn't need to be any closer than that. Good girl. So
Mule?
it is a mule. It's just a small mule. Yeah. So now we're going to try it again. But she's got the hang of it. But to get your horse or mule, any of them good with it, you got to practice all the time. This is not a one-time deal. You start doing sidling up every day you ride them, and pick different things. Once you can do it with the mounting block, come up a little. Then, whoa, no. So she went backwards, so I'm going to tap her again. But once they can do it with the mounting block, come on. Good girl. Then you start doing it everywhere. See, every time she goes back, I got to do it again. Come on. Good girl. Because if you, like, oh, that was close enough, well, then they think that's the answer. So she keeps backing away. And I'm like, no, that's not the answer. Good girl. Whoa. Good girl. Now I still want her up. She keeps going back to that spot. Good girl. So there, she gave a little hump, like, okay, that's enough. And I'm like, okay, you're close enough. So you have an understanding with your mule. You ask him to do stuff, and if you're like, I think that's all I'm going to get out of him, well, then you just move on. That's what you do. Right? And Sophia's like, yeah, tell him that's what you do. So I have a bit in her mouth today because we're going out on trail alone, and I want to see how she does. We're going to try and open this gate too. Okay. Of course, those guys might be going out on the trail too. So I have not done gates with her. We know she knows how to side pass a little bit. And we're not going to teach gates today. Good girl. But she kind of knows how to do it a little. Just not perfect. But that's good. She's not afraid or anything. Good girl. No. Good girl. Good job. Okay, so we're going to walk around the barn first. Those guys are going out on the trail. Looks like they're probably going fast. So what can I tell you about mules? Again, we don't work a lot with them, so if you're looking for like tons of information, follow one of the mule people, not me, because I'm just going to tell you what I know, but that's not everything. A mule is a cross between a donkey and a horse, and so they get things from the donkey and they get things from the horse. So they usually look a little bit different because they're usually shaped more like the donkey, but that also makes them very strong. Every animal here hates this round pen, because they're always doing stuff in there and splashing. So she's just being cautious, but not goofy. They also usually, if you're lucky, get the more of the donkey's like not being spooky attitude. Okay, donkeys usually will fight because they know they can't run that fast. So but every mule is different, so they could get some spookiness from the horse that it was bred with. So you just got to see what it is. But that's why they breed them together, because they're trying to get rid of that spookiness, and then they're usually pretty sure-footed. But it kind of depends on each one. So I'm walking around, and you see she's going sideways. She's not going close to these objects, but she's not running away either. She's not being crazy. She's just like, I don't like it, so I'm not going next to it. And I'm like, that's okay. Each time we go around, I'll try to get a little bit closer to them and see how she does. And this is the same with your horse, mule, whatever. Each time you go around or go past things, the first time's going to be the worst. And then if you keep doing it, usually you get better and better if you're doing it correctly and right. If you're doing it wrong, then it usually gets worse. So keep that in mind. If you're like, it keeps going downhill and my horse is getting worse, not better, or my mule's getting worse, not better, it's usually what you're doing the wrong thing by accident usually. All right. So she's okay with this stuff. She's looking around, but nothing bad. Things move here every day, so it's not like it's stable. Stuff changes here, so things are always new. Arabs would hate it here because Arabs notice everything. And we have so many different things going on that it would be difficult to ride them around if it was a spooky one. Okay, but you see she's seeing tarps, junk. There's goats back behind there. So she's being cautious, going a little sideways, but nothing horrible. Now, there's great things about mules that I know, and then there's some bad things about mules, just like with horses, okay? So they're usually bred, so they're not spooky. Since they're not spooky, sometimes it can be hard to move them or make them do things you want because you can't scare them into it. And they're just like, no, not doing it. Not me. Good luck with that. So we call them a little bit stubborn because they're not doing what we have asked them to do. But it can also be considered smart because they have their own thoughts. Like, I'm not doing that. Now, sometimes they won't do the things you're asking because they don't understand why you want it. Sometimes they won't do it because they don't trust you. And sometimes they're doing it because they think you're going to hurt them. So say you want to take your mule through this mud pit, and the mule thinks, well, I don't know how deep that is. It could be quicksand and I could die. So the mule goes, no, not doing it. And then again, if some other animal goes through it, they're kind of like mares a little bit, you know, then it might see it go through it and go, oh, it's okay, it's safe, so I'll do it now. So you just got to keep those things in the back of your mind. You know, you might have to get off, walk back and forth. The mule won't even follow you, but you go back and forth. Let it see you go through it, and it doesn't die. See, she's going away from the stuff. She's going towards the dogs, but she's not scared of the dog. So we're going to just show you what to do. So when they're scared with stuff like that, I didn't make a big deal of it. I went by it, but now I'm going to go back towards it again. And today, I got to ride this anyhow because, if you stop being so annoying, hey, no. But the other side of the barn's blocked off, so I can't get over there anyhow. So all I'm going to do is each time, I'm going to walk by, and this is what I do when horses are scared on the trail and I'm trying to build confidence. I turn in towards the object, and then I walk by it again. Now, she's going by it, we're closer. She's not as nervous as she was the first time. She didn't feel real nervous when she went by it the first time. She's just like, I'm not going next to that. I don't know what the heck it is. And that is a smart thing. That's not being stubborn. That's being like, well, that thing could blow up and kill me. I don't know. Hi. So, we're just going to keep going by it, but I always go past it, then turn in towards the object, not away from it. Okay? Good girl. So now she actually took a look at it. She's not stopping to look at it, but she just took a look. Okay. So this just shows you how to get through some things without making a big deal out of it. You know, if the animal will stop and assess it, then I'll let them look at it. But if it feels a little nervous and it doesn't want to stop its feet, I don't always stop it. So let me stop her though and see what she does. So you can tell where her ears are focused. She's looking at it. She She's not upset. She's not running away. Now they got to look from both eyes. She's playing with the bit. That's okay. She likes to put her tongue over this bit. That's why I had that bitless on her. Alright, so now let's walk away. She did a good job, and then we're going to turn and go by it again and see what happens. So, dogs are fighting. You don't care about that. So now when I turn, the dog fighting is going to be behind me, so you always sit back. Good girl. So see how she got closer? Now she's like, is that close enough? And I'm like, yeah, good girl, Sophia. Good job. You don't want to get in a fight. You just want to get it a little bit better each time. Okay? And she's doing pretty good. We're walking on these gravel rocks, which all the horses hate when they're barefoot, and she's barefoot. But she's doing quite well. Okay. So they have some thoughts about their own self-preservation, and they're not going to put themselves in harm's way, which a lot of horses do, for our pleasure. The mule's going to be like, no, that's stupid, I'm not doing that. Where the horse will be like, what? Okay, maybe. And the geldings will do it more than the mares. Some of the mares are like, nope, that's dangerous, I'm not doing that. So if you're having a problem with your mare, that's usually it. They're more independent thinkers. Not all of them, but some of them. Okay? So you're just trying to expose them, not overwhelm them, not put them into anything where you're going to start a huge fight. And if you got to do things and you got to get off and walk for a bit, you just get off and walk for a bit. With a mule, you really got to build trust. It's the same with mares, and of course geldings, but mares more than geldings. They got to trust you. When they trust you and you've shown them you're not going to hurt them and you're going to keep them safe and do things for them, they're pretty much do anything for you, and they'll protect you. So your mule's going to kind of be the same way. You got to build trust and show them that you're smart and you're not going to hurt them and you care about them. And a lot of them will do lots of things for you. But again, it also depends on their history and who did what to them before. If they were, beat up a lot before, well, the mule may never trust you. So you got to figure those things out ahead of time. Okay, so she's doing good just walking around here alone. She's being pretty mellow. And she did not like being over there before, but I know why, because the goats are behind there. Okay? So anytime you get a new animal, they got to get used to your new stuff. Let's go over here. And everybody's place is different, and where they lived was different. So they're always going to be comfortable at home, and that's usually where you tried the animal, because they live there and they see the things all the time. And then you get them and they don't know what to expect anymore. They're like, this is a new place, I don't know what's hiding behind the fence, I smell something funny over there. And so it's going to take time for them to get used to things. That's just the way it is. She's older, but if they're younger, you got to wear that energy off to help you. If they're full of energy and you scare them, guess what? They're going to jump more. They're going to freak out more. Maybe not the mules, but the horses. Okay. So she just tried to pull down a little there. She was looking at the grass, and all I did was squeeze with one hand and squeeze with the other pretty fast. And I did it like right here, twice on each hand. I went boom, 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 boom. And I slid the bit across her tongue to tell her, no grass for you. No. Don't let them pull their head down and eat grass, or you might not ever get it back up. Okay? All right. Somebody put a little ditch there. Now let's see if Sophia will walk over it or what she does. She's like, I don't think so. So they just dug a little drainage dip, but I don't know if you can see that. Now, all I did was take her a little bit to the side of it, and she went over it. Okay? Alright, so we're going to do the bottom of the trail. You have to make decisions when you go out on the trail, and I saw them fly out there, so they might be coming flying back, which, taking a new horse or mule out on the trail by yourself, well, you want it to go well. You don't want crazy people running past you and stuff. And they're not crazy, but I'm just saying. So, now all the horses looked at this stuff too, and some of them were quite scared of it, so she's being smart, She's just giving everything kind of a wide berth. Okay. So if you were like gonna go take a trail ride and you see there's crazy people ahead of you and you're trying to figure out your animal, again, just let them go. You can always ride around the parking lot, make sure they're long gone. And just do something else. Even though you were going to go on a trail ride, you're like, I think this is a good idea. Or your animal gets a little crazy. That's okay. If you can, lunge them a little in the parking lot, tie them up to the trailer, and just sit there that day. Let them just get used to stuff. The problem is most people rush. This guy, I don't think seen a mule before. Now Sophia's a little unsure. This goofball over here is pacing back and forth because he's unsure of us. So I'm just letting her sit for a minute. We'll see what she does, but most mares and mules, give them a minute. Don't rush it. Let them just see what it is. Do their own little safety check, and then we'll try to go in a minute. Now it's different when she's following somebody. She'll be much more sure. But out by herself, she's like, Gaye, you seem pretty nice, but I don't know about you yet. I don't know if I can trust you. So I'm not going to rush it. I'm not going to let her eat grass, but I'm not going to rush it. Now, what else can we tell you about mules? You know they're sure-footed. Some are gaited, some are not, but most of them can walk pretty fast, even if they're not gaited. She is not gaited. She trots, and she also can canter. She's a smaller mule. She's very cute, but she does have her little preferences. She doesn't particularly like being brushed, especially with a hard brush, so they got to work on that. She will like look at you nasty or act like she's going to bite. She doesn't, but I told the people, like, you know, you push her back. Don't be nice to her when she does that stuff, but be aware. So start with soft brushes. Try to be very gentle because she's giving you a message, and you try to get as much dirt off as you can, and you're like, that's good enough. I don't want to totally piss her off before we ride her. And then over time, when she trusts them, she might actually enjoy being brushed. But at this point, she probably hasn't had someone brush her a lot. Okay, so let's try and go forward and see, because we spent a fair amount of time. Now she thinks I'm going left. So all I'm doing is turning left, right, left, right. I'm leaning back in case she does a little kick out. Good girl. Good job. Now once I get her up here, if she will continue, I'm going to give her a little treat as a reward of going by that thing she was scared of. Because that will show Sophia, like, hey, Gay's quite nice. I might do some stuff for her. Hey, Sophia. So now he's checking us out, so I might as well let him see the mule, because again, some horses don't know what the heck they are. Again, this is more blurry to him. He's like, what the hell? That girl's got the biggest ears I've ever seen. Okay, now let's walk. Now see, it took her a minute. She's like, maybe I'll walk on, maybe I won't. Now he's getting crazy because you hear the chainsaw, and look at what Sophia did. I mean, that even made me a little nervous when it went off. But she didn't react to me getting nervous at all. She's just like, hey, Gaye, it's a chainsaw. Just like you told me that was a drag thing. So you don't worry. So we just helped each other. Okay? Now she can walk out, but I'm not going to make her go fast. Because we're not going out on trail. We're just going to walk this today, unless they come back soon. So when you get your mule or your horse, you slowly build the confidence between the two of you. Most people do too much, too fast, or they do too little, too slow. You want to be right in between, right? Remember when I said do everything with moderation. So you want to get them to know you. Groundwork is great. Do that every day if you can, a little bit of groundwork, but exercise them. They need to work their energy off. Her, not so much, but most other ones do. So work their energy off, and then, ride them. But riding in an arena or round pen is the safest, because people will find you if something happens. And then after that, then you ride around the barn, and then you start taking them out on trail. But don't go to the trail right away. Don't let your friends push you. You gotta get to know the animal first, know its energy level, know what it's spooky of. It's always nice to do stuff at home with bikes and baby carriages like you see me do. So I know she's already seen that stuff. Now this one likes to protect her friend. Sophia, you want to get in a fight with her? Sophia's like, yeah, I will. But lots of animals will do this. They get a new friend, or their friends keep getting taken away. They start protecting their friends. Now when you got a blind curve, sit back, turn, because I don't know where they are, and then we're going to go back towards home. Okay? So when you are getting used to them, again, it's best to stay at home. You can put a tag on you and the animal, so if something happens, they can find you when you do start to go out. And but slowly build up your confidence. Like we kind of have pastures here and muddy, but there's places I can wander. So it's not like I have to be on trail. I can just wander around here, visit the other horses, piss some of them off, and just see how she responds to everything. And then there's also holes and things I need to steer around and see if she'll go where I guide her. Because remember, now she knows how to leg yield, so practice your leg yield. I'm leg yielding right now. That's a pretty Rocky mare that's for sale. All the Rockies turn weird colors at times. They're usually that chocolate in the spring or summer, I forget which. Then they turn yellow. And everybody thinks it's a weird color. I'm like, they're going to turn back. Okay, so let's get up here and let's try our turn on the forehand. Good girl. Good girl. Now, she switched her tail. She wasn't happy doing it, but she did it. And now look, she's like, I used to live over here. I don't want to go. So I just kind of bumped her with both my legs and like, come on, Sophia. And I do have a stick in case she didn't want to go. I can wave my stick. So it's always best to be prepared in the beginning. Now we're going down something a little slippery, so I'm sitting back and she's figuring it out. But we are right by grass, so I just slid the bit again, a little bit hard. Like, nope, Sophia, don't even think of it. So going through tall grass is a hard one because you can't really stop them except to put a muzzle on, okay? So, but you don't want to let them snatch, because if they sit there and they keep snatching, sooner or later they're just going to put their head down and pull on you to try to get the grass. Okay, so now we're just going to walk around and do it again. So each time I go around, it should be a little bit better, but we'll see. She might stop in the same spot. We'll see. But you're just kind of treating it like it's just you're just going around the barn, and the first time always stinks, the second time's better, it gets better and better. Because then they get bored with it, and they're just like, oh, whatever, I'll just go buy that thing. So, you gotta give them time, and you gotta give them some mileage. So it's good if you got a new animal to follow somebody else, but a non-spooky, trustworthy friend. You know, don't go out with spooky horses. Don't go out with chaotic people, because that will ruin the trust between you and your horse or mule. Stay with good people in the beginning. Get some really good miles on with safe people and not big groups, because in big groups there's too many things that can happen. So stay in smaller groups with trustworthy people. And then over time, once you're doing really well, you're like, yeah, now I'm going to start going on group rides, but I'm really going to prepare myself. Don't you chase us. You chase us, I'm going to come after you with her. Oh, all the animals understand me. That's why I have conversations with them. Okay. So here she goes for the grass again. So that's the only problem I've had so far, is her in grass. We're coming up on that drag thing that she didn't like the first time. And she went right by. So it's good to, like, how do you get to know your animal? How do you know if I can trust it or not? You're doing things like this, little test. Because now that told me, like, Sophia might be a little nervous the first time and say no. But if I give her some time, she might say yes. If she didn't, I might have just gotten off and walked her by it, because she Hadn't seen that before. That thing's new. But that paint is running around behind us, and she's totally fine with that. And that's golden. Okay? The rest, you just got to work with them. But she's like, okay, I guess I'll go out here again. I don't know why Gaye wants to keep walking this trail, but I'm going to do it. So now I'm going to stop. So if I stop and give them treats, I'm not going to let her eat grass out here because that would be a mistake because she's already trying to eat grass. Here, Sophia. But I am going to give her cookies. So that makes going out here a good thing because she's getting cookies here. So try and save your cookies for when you first see them and then when you're riding them and doing things that normally make them nervous. That'll make it more pleasurable for them, and then as you repeat it, it gets better and better over time. You have to repeat things, but you have to repeat them correctly to get yourself confident and to get the animal confident for you. If you go out every time you have a bad ride, do stupid things, you don't prepare your animal, it tricks you, and so things just keep going wrong, it's not going to get better. It's better to get a different animal, because I see people do that a lot with young animals. You know, the young ones that are quiet, that hide the spunk inside them. And the people go, I don't have to lunge it. I don't have to do this. He's totally fine. And I go, yeah, but that's why he's spooking. Yes, that's why he's bucking. Yeah. If you still don't want to lunge him, that's fine with me. I'm not riding it. It's your animal. See, that one just ran up to us. And she didn't do a thing. But that's one of the things I see is people do not get the energy off, and then when something happens, all that energy comes out at once through a buck, a rear, a spook, a bolt, and it's because the animal's not prepared, and maybe the person's nervous. I don't trust her. So see, I took Sophia away. I'm like, I don't know, that one's a little bitchy. Let's get away from her. Good girl. Anything coming? She's like, no, they're not back yet. Okay. So what else am I learning that I can snack into a tree? What else am I learning? She's doing good going downhill and up inclines. That's going just fine. I'm learning that my saddle's staying in place on her. I like to use pads that have sticky on it. This is the Lemue's one, but you can get the tacky pads on animals that are round or that don't have much wither, and the saddle tends to slide forward. Okay. They're chasing us. So see, this is all good experience. Them running around behind us. Me going by grass, telling her she can't eat it. Let's go this way this time. Take a different turn. And so you just slowly trying to build your confidence. If you're a real nervous person, like what I would do is hand walk them a bunch around and then get on and ride them once around. Then you get off. Or if you can't do that much, you get on and walk like one block and get off. Give them some cookies and then just hand walk them more. And just build your confidence on the ground with them, see what they do, because then you'll see, oh, they're fine with dogs. Oh, they're fine with bikes. They don't care about that stuff. And you're safe, and then that helps the horse build its confidence as well. Okay? Now what we're going to do now to make it a little different, because she did pretty well that way, and this is going to test her attitude, is I'm going to get up here and turn around. So I'm going to do another turn on the forehand. Cool. So now I'm going to use my right rein and leg, and I'm going to go back on the trail the other way. So lots of people don't ride their horses all over the place. You should. Ride them at home, ride them out on the trail, take them everywhere. Because then you really get to see what they're like, and they get so much more experience on them. And then things after that are not as big a deal. Because you're like, oh, they've already seen that. Yep, I've done that. But some people are like, no, my horse is horrible at home. It's because you don't ride at home. So that means you need to ride at home more. Your horse is horrible when you go out on the trail. You need to go out on the trail more. That's the only way to get it better. Now, if you can't do it, you get someone else to do it for you and then teach you. But just to avoid things like my horse is afraid of bikes or ice cream truck or fire truck, if you avoid those things, it just makes it worse. You start breaking it down and be like, what's a fire truck do? It has a siren. Oh, Gaye showed us that megaphone thing that has a siren. I'm going to get that. Oh, my horse is afraid of bikes. I'm going to get a bike and ride around with it and then take it to bike places and tie it up to the trailer. So I'm going to do that so often that that thing is going to be so used to bikes it does not care if they run into them. Okay? So now we're going back out. You saw so far we're good. Miss Meanie, are you coming over? She's thinking about it. She's like, Gay's doing her annoying thing again. But this is hard for a lot of people just to do with their horse. It's just to kind of walk out on the trail and come back and leave again. This is a good exercise, you know? You just walk around and then you go back to the barn, maybe go in the arena and canter around a couple of times or gate around a couple of times and then go back out on the trail and walk. Now she's cantering up to us. Hi, you are cute. I like her a lot. If somebody's looking for an older mare, she's very sweet. Running and bucking. You guys are having fun. So, see, they're getting more exercise from me just walking around because it's getting some of them a little excited because they just stand here. And that's another thing. Everybody thinks, well, my horse is out in pasture.